We're in a truancy sweep because he hasn't been in school. I'm Wendy Frink. I'm from the County Office of Education, one of the directors of the school he's currently enrolled in. We haven't seen him for a month, just about.
No, you haven't seen him for about a week.
2
days.
April, or I'm sorry, February.
2 days.
The last time I saw him was February 8th.
From what school?
Ambition. One Ambition.
One of the things we hope to accomplish with the Truancy Sweep is we want as many players as possible to come all at once to impress upon the parent and the kid how serious it is they attend school, how much we really, really mean it. And so there is a little bit of a shock factor in that we're surprised, we're all here at your door and we're all working together and we all want your kid to attend school. Back around Thanksgiving, this particular family, there was a shooting at their house. The grandfather was shot twice in the leg. The family became very frightened for their safety, and they actually moved out of that house that they were originally living in, but they refused to give us a new address. And eventually this kid stopped coming to school. His attendance got more and more sporadic, and when we came to the house, he hadn't been to school since February 24th. Trying to build some trust with that father so that he would feel comfortable talking to us and getting his child an education was probably the most important thing that we could do there today.
And then she goes to school at 11. It's almost 9. No, it's almost 10. I know, so it's almost 10, so it's about time for her to get out.
There was a young lady on our list who had just turned 13, and she seemed to have, to be sort of a good example to how school attendance can be an indicator of other concerns. She's just barely 13. She's been kicked out of the regular school district, and now she's in the alternative schools, and she's not attending there. It's been brought to our attention she's run away from home for days at a time. She ran away twice in the month of February, and she was gone for days. Our biggest identified need with her is the need for counseling, because if a little girl that young is not attending school, we're concerned as to why. School attendance is such a red flag for a myriad of other behaviors, for criminal behavior, for mental health issues, for abuse issues. A child who's not attending a school is at risk for entering the criminal justice system.
There are days where you come back and you'll read their cum file and you just need to shut your door and cry and be done with it, and then suck it up and figure out what you can do next to try to help the kid, because me crying in my office isn't going to do a darn bit of good for her. So that's when you have to just start, you keep your ears open. As soon as you hear of anything going on, you talk to the school nurse, you talk to the school counselors, you talk to people in the community, you talk to probation, and at some point, somewhere, something's going to click. Well, we haven't tried that yet. Maybe that's going to be the piece that completes the puzzle for that student.
I was completely not aware of this, so much so that Officer Brian, had to find me, to contact me and let me know what was going on.
Unfortunately, that does happen, okay, and I'm sympathetic with you. And my job right now is to make sure that they're in the process of getting enrolled somewhere. So.
The circumstances that surrounded this whole event, that my kids were not attending school, it was completely out of my knowledge. As a single parent, I have encountered many struggles, sacrifices. I have no family here, so that makes it a lot more difficult. I can't call on mom, dad, or cousins, aunts, to help out. I trusted my kids. They were doing the right thing by going to school. They were apparently intercepting the letters that I was receiving from the school.
I didn't want him to tell my mom what was going on because my mom had so much stress on her. So I didn't want them to know what I was doing. I didn't want my mom to know what I was doing.
These things don't happen in a vacuum. They don't happen in one day, and it's not one factor that led up to it.
We're in a truancy sweep.
Can you open the door, please?
What school are you at before?
Tracy?
But when we went over
over there
pretty much
last
the longest time,
Right,
and
so
then because fight happened.
All right. Well, go with Tone. You'll work through, do that behavior piece a couple days a week, the academic piece a couple days a week.
I'd love to say that it's extremely effective, and as soon as we leave the house today, that the family is coming together and they're making a concerted effort to get their student to school. However, the reality is that that's not the case. There are cases where there's marked improvement, not gigantic, I'm going to come to school 100% at the time now, but they'll come to school one more day a week. Or they'll come to school and maybe only miss a couple of days in a month, whereas before we wouldn't see them for 2 or 3 weeks at a time. So our victories are small, but we'll take them and we'll continue to move forward with those victories and try to help the family in any way that we can get their kid to school.